Hi, I'm Danny Butler.
I'm Ben Butterworth.
And I'm Stu Day.
And this is the Trialtube podcast.
Get in.
So welcome back to a brand new podcast, which is, I was just going to start with, coming in your ears. But no, I don't think we can start with that, can we? Different type of podcast. But once again, thank you for tuning in to the Trialtube podcast. We've had a change of presenters, and also we'll be making our way through this wilderness of trials chat. That sounded very grand tour, didn't it?
Who knows where it's going to take us?
Who knows where it's going to turn? As always, you can keep up with the Trialtube podcast on Apple, Spotify, and in 4K if you want to really see us.
It's on YouTube, kids.
It's on YouTube, kids.
It is.
Yeah. This episode, incidentally, is brought to you by the awesome guys over at Cameo Moto, who obviously supported one of our very first YouTube videos back when I did the R3 review, which was, it went down a storm apart from the fact that I did say some of the parts on the bike were the wrong thing. I think I called the fuel pump the water pump, but
it don't matter. It's nice to see that the original guys have got belief in what we're doing here. So thank you.
Yeah,
thanks,
we really
Timps.
appreciate that. Cheers, Timps. And we'll get on a bit about Cameo Moto later on in the episode.
Yes.
But let's address the elephant in the room. Sandy died. He didn't die.
And got rebirthed.
He got rebirthed.
Just a few years younger.
He's just so you know, Sandy is still in the room right now.
Yeah,
Obviously, we are the awesome foursome.
Sandy is fine, by the way. He's not
he didn't
dead.
die.
He's absolutely fine.
He's completely fine. But we have with us Ben Butterworth,
who is our classic bike aficionado / expert guy.
Do you think that's a thing, Ben?
Yeah,
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'll settle with that.
That'll do then.
Yeah.
So obviously, as a new addition to the team for the episode 2, we are going to have rotating presenters. Don't worry, you'll even be able to get rid of me on the other week.
It's a big area, isn't it? A big area of trials to talk about.
Yeah, it is. And we wanted to have somebody on the channel that was, shall we say, experienced in the ways of the twin shock. And I think nobody can deny, Ben, that you have taken the twin shock by the horns, because I think... Well, I'll let you explain, Ben. What's your favourite thing to do on a twin shock at a modern trial?
Beat modern bikes.
And that's what you like to do.
Yeah, why not?
And let's be honest, you're bloody good at it.
Well, it just makes it more entertaining and challenging, doesn't it? You turn up at a modern trial with an old knackered twin shock, tweaked up a little bit, and go and put it
Tweaked up
a little bit.
Well,
Did you hear that?
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's got some rock shocks on the back and some fancy forks and chopped up frame, but that's about it.
I think the last video that we did on the classic the twin shock episode of Trialtube, which obviously you can watch on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube right now. But if you're listening on Spotify, by the way, we can't help you out there. You're just going to have to pull up somewhere if you're listening in the car.
Yeah.
Somewhere safe and watch Trialtube on YouTube.
You're going to miss out on the visual gags, but we'll try and explain it.
Yeah, we'll try and explain it best we can. Again, we really are faces for radio, so if you are driving right now, keep your eyes on the road, but you're doing the best thing. What can I say? If you can hear my voice but not see my face, you're one of the lucky ones. But no, Ben's bikes are
Pristine.
yeah, but used.
They're used every week. Yeah, unlike this thing sat here.
Yeah, so this week in the studio we have a 1987 TR34 Beta 260. It's the bigger CC one.
It's the one Jordi rode.
It is the one that Jordi rode, yes, that is right.
I think his was a lot more factory and lighter than that one.
It's very,
Because
very
that
nice.
weighs a ton.
So
It's beautiful. It's tactile, isn't it? That front pipe.
Beautiful.
Wow.
again, this was a rebuild on the channel that we decided to... it's an ornament, boys, I'm not going to lie. It got rode once in 2023 and got pushed around a
But
lot.
what an ornament. That'd look well in anyone's kitchen, wouldn't it? It's beautiful.
Well, I did have it in the
broom, sit
kitchen,
down
but
and
then
just
my
look
lady
at
wasn't impressed. So
Oh, well.
it's by far, it's a bike I wanted to own again when I was a kid, and it's also the bike that got me into trials.
And that's why it's special to you.
It is. I've also heard on the grapevine from the Hemingway's mum, that in their household the original Beta factory tape got worn out, which it did do for many of us, I think, during our childhood. If you're lucky to have a copy of that video, I know it's on YouTube, you can find it. That if you're not watching Trialtube, that is the other Trials video to watch, like that and Narita Banzai. If anybody's seen the Takumi Narita video,
there's so much classic content on there. It's incredible, and I think if you search for anything, it's there somewhere.
Yeah, somebody's done us the favour. Just quickly, top 3 videos from you boys. What do you think in Trials?
I just love
Kickstart's got to be up there.
Kickstart, yeah.
I love all the old Duke stuff. I love the Duke world reviews from the late 80s and 90s. I thought they were brilliant.
Yeah, they were.
It was good when it was all videoed and
I used to go in Halfords after the
indoor at Sheffield.
After the indoor at Sheffield.
Yeah, go buy
it. Is the indoor yet? Can I go and get the Halfords?
And that's the thing that's not there anymore. It's one of those beautiful things from the past that's modern technologies made disappear, and I think it's a bit of a shame.
It is a bit of a shame, and also when you had a video,
the Trick Wizard videos.
Oh well,
Jason Finn.
Jason Finn.
Wow.
We've got a little bit of a chat about Jason Finn because, unbeknownst to our other presenters, Jason reached out to us, and Jason Finn will be coming on the Trialtube podcast.
Can we ride with him?
Mate, honestly,
we're going to make
I just want to be near him. Have you seen him now, by the way?
We're going to make it a clause as if he comes on the podcast, he is coming for the weekend and we're going to ride him.
Honestly, Jason Finn. So, for any of you that don't know, by the way, we're just all sat here saying the same name and like, Jason Finn, like he's God. But if you don't know who Jason Finn is, he is basically in the, I'm going to say, mid to late 90s, early 2000s, when he really got some...
He was the Ken Block of Trials.
Oh, yeah.
He is the guy that become a sensation, doing the tricks, pushing all sorts of crazy things, a bit like Ken Block did with drifting and rallying. He didn't make a name for himself competing, but wow, everybody just wanted to watch him.
Doesn't need an obstacle, does he?
Good.
No, he didn't need. He was the only demo rider to never need an obstacle.
The only works rider to never do a section.
Yeah, and also, what a works rider. Some of Jason Finn's bikes
were trick.
And
he's got them all.
Yeah, he's got them all in a collection.
He's got them all. Wow.
Yeah, he invented some of the stuff that people do now. You know, even
it was ahead of his time.
If you watch Trick Wizard and Trick Wizard 2, in Trick Wizard 2, Jason Finn jumps between rocks in a quarry on the rear tyre on a 1997 gas.
Yep. That's where it all started, isn't it?
Where it all started.
It's where it all started.
So was Tony Bow
inspired by Jason Finn?
I know, right?
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a conversation to have with him. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if Tony knew who he was, but if you don't know who Jason Finn
Tony
is,
was even born.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Okay.
Tony's the same age as me.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason Finn was a little bit of he's brilliant and a little bit of inside-outside knowledge. In 1998, I did a demo at the Dirt Bike Show on my gas. And was an invited rider to ride in a motorcycle trials arena outside in Donington.
I remember it.
And it was me, Kyle Hayes, Ben Ely, Richard Ely, Graham Jarvis, Dibs.
Gosh. What age were you then?
1998, 12.
Wow.
And Jason Finn.
Goodness me.
And Jason did a bit in our arena over the pipes and stuff like that because it was a really good setup.
Yeah.
But then Jason had his own arena that had no obstacles in whatsoever.
It just takes people from the crowd.
And the crowd was like 10 deep.
It was. And after, which always made me laugh, after he'd done all his burnouts and that back tyre was just like a slick, he'd put a £10 for sale sign on them and people would buy them.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
They did. Yeah.
I bet you haven't, yeah?
No.
Can you remember?
But no, I just went home and then tried to emulate what he did and have a massive crash.
Can you remember Jason Finn's purple mirror finish transit van?
Yes.
No, I don't remember.
He had a purple mirror finish transit van with a chrome Jason Finn signature on the side of it.
I'd have only been
he got his name
4 or 5, I reckon.
His names were signatured on his seats and everything. It was so pimp.
He was basically, I think that, you know, if kids nowadays want to be Tony Bow or kids nowadays, bang on about even Danny McCaskill or whatever you want to say,
He was a role model.
None of them were as cool
No.
as Jason Finn.
He is totally oblivious to how influential he was to a lot of riders back in the day.
I bet he isn't oblivious to how how influential he is to a lot of women.
And he's never really been replicated. There's some cool modern freestyle trials riders around, but they've never stayed to that sort of hype.
There's only a backflip that's come in since him, isn't there? Really?
I don't know if he did do a
Fred Crossett.
That was Fred Crossett.
Fred Crossett, then Christoph Bruand.
Yeah.
But Finney used to do wheelies, sat on the bars.
Oh.
He used to do stoppies, sat on the bars.
Didn't he got the record for jumping as many people without
The
a ramp?
most people bunny hopped, and I'm sure it was something stupid like 35 people.
I don't know what we're plucking numbers out of the air, but it was a bloody lot. You wouldn't want to be the last man on the end.
No, it always used to be his mate. Was his mate named Craig or something? I can't remember anyway. But I remember he always used to put his mate at the end, and he had a factory 315 Mont from Montesa.
That was a trick.
That was like bored out
trick.
because obviously he did loads of donuts and skids and wheelies and stuff. But I always used to remember, like, some riders do it now where they put one foot on the back mudguard and do like a donut wheelie. But Finney used to do a donut wheelie into wheeling in a straight line into like a slalom wheelie, all stood on the back mudguard, and he was clocking, mate.
Just
he was
ahead of
going
his
like
time.
stink as well.
Some bike control that.
Yeah.
Even just to do a wheelie on a trials bike is bloody a fair effort, isn't it? When you don't know.
He used to swap bikes. He was famous for. So we'll all know this move, but again, I'm probably showing that I'm too much for trials boffing right now. But in 1997, Kenichi Kiriyama at the Birmingham Indoor, which was ran by the Rathmels at the NIA. At the NIA arena, I was looking then to one side to my dad, who was off screen. I was like, "Were we at the NIA then?" At the NIA, Kenichi Kiriyama actually came into the arena flat out on his techno and jumped off the back of the bike and ran next to it.
Signature.
He was the first person to do it. It was Kiriyama.
Was it?
And then we did the dirt bike show that year and told Finney about it in the car park.
And he did.
And Finney did it in the next show, but in the first show he did it in, he completely cocked it up, boys. Like, he slapped his Montesa down the concrete, and I was just like, oh, well that's that then. And then in between the shows, him and Graham Jarvis, Grimbo at the time was on a white and blue Scorpa. Yeah.
They were cool.
That was a cool bike.
That really was,
cool.
I mean, I did ride like a...
Did it say easy
tank.
on the tank?
Yes.
Yeah, Scorpa Easy. That was the model.
Proper.
Scorpa Easy. That was the model at the time, and that was the last version of it in blue and white.
Yes.
I'm going to with the Rotax engine in.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Weapon.
You not got one?
Have I not?
My brother had one.
Did he?
Yeah, our Martin.
They used to have super skinny mudguards and that.
Yeah.
They were very before their time, but the problem is when you stood over one, the like seat area was dead skinny. So if you did slide off the pegs, you did also remove your Tezers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And him and Grimbo were practicing and learning how to do that move. And then at Sheffield that year, Graham rode into Sheffield and in his intro jumped off the back of the bike and ran next to it.
I remember
Brilliant.
it. Yeah, I wasn't very old, 5, 6, but yeah, I
school.
do remember. Is that the year Kiriyama broke both his wrists?
Yes.
Oh, that was horrific. That was.
No, that was 97.
Was it?
He was on the purple beater.
Oh, I can still.
And
That was
Dougie's
the
wheel collapsed.
Dougie collapsed his back wheel.
Yeah.
I think that was a thing that year in the beaters, wasn't it? Loads of people did the back wheels.
That was the worst for me trials indoor crash I've ever witnessed. That was horrific.
Yeah, Challoner was close, wasn't he, when he did it a couple of years
Challoner
later
was
on
close on the
Ossa.
Ossa, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was a big one.
I was really behind Challoner as well from the perspective of supporting him, as in thinking he was a nice guy.
Yep.
So is a nice guy. If you're listening, Jack, how's it going on? Great talent at the time.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if the Ossa was the bike for him, but you know what? The Ossa, again, which we'll talk about, I'm very sure.
One.
You had one?
Yep.
Did you?
I had one of the first Ossas, through Pennine Trial Sport. And honestly, it was so good. I absolutely loved it.
Way ahead of its time.
Way
wasn't
ahead
it?
of its time. Rode fantastic, but the little gremlins just...
At the way out.
just...
What were the gremlins?
Mine never used to start when it got hot, and it was
That
diagnosed.
was a fuel-injected bike, wasn't it?
It was fuel injected, yep. But it was diagnosed as a cracked cylinder head and a temperature sensor not letting it start.
Okay.
And at that time, we were doing the trials displays, and it wasn't very good when your bike wouldn't start.
No.
And then the rear wheel bearing, they had a bearing one side and a bush the other, and they had to remachine the wheels to put 2 bearings in because they thought the bush would be better, but it obviously didn't work.
Weren't the Osses made in the gas factory? Or is that a myth?
Don't know.
I think that they were
Later on, wasn't it? I think
It was later on they were in the gas factory. In the beginning, again, really weird coincidence that I was there for this. In the beginning, they were their own entity. But when I was out in France and Spain, mining for James Dable, which was a great thing, by the way, and it came around from nothing. I was sat in my tea. I looked on Facebook, and the Dibs had put a status on just saying, does anybody fancy going to Spain for 12 weeks?
As you do.
As you do, and being a minder. I had a knee injury and couldn't ride the bicycle. So I just sent him a message saying,
I'll do it.
And he was like, but we're going tomorrow. Literally, that was literally probably he put, but we're going to Spain tomorrow. And I was sat there, I had a knee injury. I wore a knee brace for the entire thing when I was out there minding. And for anybody that has the chance to go and do World Championship mind or World Championship level minding, it's very energetic. You will be exhausted. The minders are some of the best people in the car park.
Yeah.
So don't get rid of their job, FIM. And can I say that?
You can. You sure do. It should be highlighted.
Absolutely.
Definitely. They are the...
Definitely don't get rid of that job. It's a really good job.
And the necessity that.
Yeah.
They're doing they're absolutely a must in trials. There is
and yeah, it's a great thing to do, but as long as you don't like, your fingers, because you do occasionally have to get your hand in a spinning front wheel and not be scared. But yeah, the first indoor round that we went to when I was mining for Dibs was Marseille, and the Osser came out of the truck for the first time on the back of a low loader, and Mark Coleman was the team manager, and me, Dibs and Challoner were stood in front of the low loader as it came down, looking at the bike maybe 3 feet away from it. Wow. And all 3 of us stood there and went, that's cool. Well, if you know what I mean, because...
and it still looks cool now.
Yeah, it does. I'd have another, but just
if I could find...
If you
well,
could find
I actually
one
know there's some in a box somewhere.
Yeah, you'd have another one
in the box.
Just have it
brand new in a box.
Would you just...
Oh, no. If I could have a brand new one, I'd make sure it works and I'd go riding and everything, and there's some in a box. But let's be honest. Cool bike.
Did ride.
Machine.
Did ride so well. Yeah, the grip was on, like...
What a shame.
What a shame
it came to a demise.
I know. We...
maybe it'll come round again. Maybe the name will be rebirthed.
In loving memory of the Osser.
Again.
Like what's it called? It's like an Osser eulogy that we're doing right now.
Isn't it? Yeah.
We're just remembering old classic trial stuff.
Old classic trial stuff,
They're not that old.
It's not that old. That's pretty modern, is that?
But 12 years ago? 13 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2011 I think it was, I got mine.
Almighty.
And it was one of the first in the country.
Time's flying.
Yeah.
It is flying when you're having fun.
Isn't it? What else are we talking about?
No, so Ben obviously is from the Twin Shock, shall we say, I'm going to say community. He's our Twin Shock community representative. That's what I'm going to put you down as.
Yeah, we'll go for that.
Yeah. And that covers the pre-65 stuff too, which is...
It's not it's not pre-65 anymore.
No, it's
I had this
conversation
to someone who came into work yesterday just to pick something up, and he went, I don't know how they can call it pre-65 anymore. It's Brit Shock.
Yeah.
Because what's pre-65 about my bike? Crankcases, gearbox, casing, that is it. Nothing else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everything is new build.
That was initially made to be the cheaper option of going and buying a new bike. We're still going to make a class for the old boys. And then what happened is all the people with money just spunked it into a pre-65 bike and made it 12 grand bike, 20 grand bike. I mean, what is the all singing? What are lads piling into them nowadays?
Well, my aerial probably 15 upwards.
Is it?
But the thing is, I can ride that aerial week in, week out, and it's not going to lose money like your brand new Gasser, your brand new Vertigo is going to drop a couple of grand as soon as you take it to your first trial.
That's true.
That's
a Vertigo nowadays can drop a couple of grand in a couple of seconds.
Of all my Twin Shocks, they're not going to...
Depending on what content you put out there.
What you put out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to put this out there. The Vertigo is still the best riding two-stroke on the market.
Disagree.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
You've ridden my Fantic and you said that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All right,
Yeah.
all right modern bike.
No.
What you can buy out of a box.
Beta.
Out of a box, a Beta.
No.
Well, you have always liked a classic.
No, Gasser. Straight out of the box, best bike, Gasser.
Straight out of the box. It's true.
It's what suits you.
It is what suits you.
It's what suits you.
Listen, I'm not gonna pull any punches. All the bikes nowadays are good.
That's true. They've all also got their own little niggle. There is no brand new bike
no
that is
perfect bike.
perfect.
Nope.
Every single one of them, and it's just whatever your flavour is, whether it's 2-stroke, 4-stroke, blue, yellow. Can you call it?
That's the last time you swear on this
word.
podcast, Stu Day. The last time you swear on this podcast. Don't you say 4-stroke to me ever again.
4-stroke? What's wrong with 4-strokes? I'd have a Montesa. And I'm sure he would, being the agricultural man.
Agricultural man.
Did you ever go on one of those? Is it 301s? Ash had one, didn't he?
Yeah, my brother had a 301 RR, and
it
it was super cool.
It's
it
a
looked
good
dead cool.
riverbed stream
brilliant.
section Scottish.
For the
style.
Scottish 6 days.
Also,
They've got
if you've got a really big section, it's the kind of bike that you can knock the section down with.
Well,
Yeah. Send them up beforehand. And
like a whacker plate.
Yeah.
Honda UK, if you're watching this, really good bikes. Big fan.
Toby makes his sing though, doesn't he?
Yeah, okay,
But
okay,
that's a very
okay.
trick one.
Like, that's
That's got all of HRC magic fairy dust sprinkled
that's
all
got 2
over
coils on it.
No, I heard from Fred, the club trial rider, who definitely does not exist, that Tony Bow is riding the same bike as what you buy out of the shop with the Repsol sticker kit on.
That's not true.
No, we all know that.
That's not true.
Like, it's not a thing, is it?
That is. We know the HRC bikes are beyond special.
Yeah.
And so they should be. A factory bike should be.
We're talking
factory.
MotoGP level trials.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
it should be. I think that's brilliant.
Is there going to be? I think Honda have done a great job of putting a professional level outfit out there as well. They're treating the sport with the respect that it deserves.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
But the bike in the showroom is not what the pros ride.
It is. I've seen it on a poster.
Oh, have you? Oh, well, that must be right then.
Looks identical. Colours.
got the
Same
Yeah.
stickers.
Yeah. Same
Same bold stickers for the new bike.
Lovely.
Yeah. And Repsols have changed so much over the years, haven't they?
They have, yeah. They've. Moving on, anyway.
Moving on.
Move along. There's now. I just don't know. If you cut me down the middle, I bleed 2-stroke. There's only one 4-stroke I want in my stable.
Go on. Oh, Honda RTL.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just for the people listening on the podcast. We've got a carbon fibre Honda RTL seat and tank shroud in front of us, which does belong to Ben, as Ben is the proud owner of an RTL, which he is. I'm going to say emotionally attached to at this point.
Never sell that bike.
That is a work of art. The carbon fibre weave on that is so pleasing to the eye. It's just
pornography, isn't it?
Women don't get this. I don't think many women are like, why are you making a thing of that? Because it is. Yeah. Look at it. It's beautiful.
Everything's cooler if it's carbon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's beautiful.
You know, until the carbon snaps. So if you're in the mountain
then
bike
you
world,
get a
and
bit
then you lie
frustrated.
down on the floor with bits in you. But anyway, moving on. No, RTL. Let's be honest. If there's a bike of an era, seeing as we've got a TR34 sat next to us.
What year is this?
87.
Yeah.
The RTL killer.
Yep.
Of that year was the year that Jordi Tarres obviously, shall we say, dethroned Eddie Lejeune and the RTL, the pink RTL that was it the 360 with the big engine in?
Yeah, with the 360.
361. The factory one. Again, they were special
Saunders
bikes.
Road as well.
Yeah, Saunders rode that bike.
Yeah.
And you've got it on your top there, JSM.
Yeah,
Shirty.
absolutely.
Also threw his leg over a factory Honda, didn't he?
And then along comes the new upstart gas, and it slayed that. It slayed the Beta.
It did, the new gas. Well, no, I'm not going to say
Gas
the
Air?
new gas
No,
because
the-
the Halley was pretty...
Yes.
out
But
there.
when Jordi jumped from Beta to gas, that moved it on another level again. Then.
Yeah, 96.
Yeah.
End of 95.
Yeah.
I'm really showing my Charles Boffin level right now.
Trials
My
knowledge.
extra trials knowledge.
Yes. And become the king of trials at that time.
Yeah, because Jordi was actually the first person to be referred to as the king of
As a king,
trials,
winning 7 titles.
back to back.
What years was that?
From 90... No, he had 87.
Yes.
88 was Jordi.
Yeah. He didn't win them continuously.
No, then it was Terry Michaud, who's the FIM commissioner now, who's in charge of the FIM. And Terry Michaud obviously makes up a lot of the rules and is a huge fan of non-stop, but nobody's perfect.
No.
Ben's laughing right now.
There's nothing wrong with non-stop trials.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing right with it either.
At a certain event.
Yep, exactly.
It is. It depends on the event.
I think it's good to have two lots. So you're pleasing the stop and hoppers, and you also got events for the non-stoppers. I think it's good to have
It is
both.
best to keep people that like non-stop trials in their own area.
The ultimate trials rider is one that can do both.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is when you ride non-stop, they all say, "Oh, well, you've got to stop and hop." But then, funny, really, if you're a non-stop rider, most of the time you can't stop and hop, can you?
Well, controversial. Scotty 6 days.
Well, oh yeah, because I've never seen anybody stop in a section at the Scottish
dodgy
Review.
decisions there. Not mentioning names.
Listen, we're not going to start with the
bother.
balk. We're going to move on. I didn't even know that was a rule. Do you know? Did you even know that was a rule?
Well, it depends on your surname.
What do you teach your students? Stop or non-stop?
Most of my stuff. I go massively into balancing the different ways you can stop and balance. I teach 4 different ways of stopping and balancing your bike under control. So I very much am stop and
committed.
hop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stu is a supporter though of non-stop movement in a section.
I like flowing trials. I do like. I personally do. You have to remember when I was competing and I was in the experts, they did revert back. It was no stop for a good few years.
But it's nice to know you can stop.
Of course, yeah.
Just in case you're going to get yourself into bother.
Yeah,
you can have a pause and you can set yourself and go again.
I personally think there's a place for both.
Yeah,
and
there
it's
is.
important to practice both.
It is important to practice both. But I'm going to quote somebody.
Oh.
Okay. The person I'm going to quote is not Danny Butler because he's full of crap. We know that. The person I'm going to quote is, I was having a conversation with Doug Lampkin in Spain when we went over to do the Vertigo episode of Trialtube. And he said during the non-stop era of the World Championship, the sections, the reason why they went non-stop, correct me if I'm wrong, is because sections were getting too dangerous.
Yes.
That was the reason,
Yes.
right? During that period, you were riding as an expert. I was riding as a youth
Yes,
kid
correct.
national rider.
Yep.
And the reason why the rules changed were because the sections were too dangerous. That's the reason.
So we're going to go back.
Back to 99, 2000. 2001 is when it really came into effect. And that was the reason why they said they're changing it, because it was dangerous. And Dougie told me the next year they went back to the World Championships. Do you think the sections got easier?
No.
Do you think all the riders just had to ride into it whether they were ready or not?
Correct.
It was very sketchy.
It was very sketchy.
Very sketchy.
Very sketchy. And that's exactly what...
And there was a lot of very controversial marking.
Controversial marking also. But that's what Doug said. When we were sat there, he said, I was going up stuff and I wasn't ready to go.
Yeah.
Is that safe?
And that makes it dangerous.
Yeah.
More dangerous than it was beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly, certain events, no stop, that's fine, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But certainly the world's elite has to be stop and hop and move. And the way they've got around that is, of course, the sections now have a time limit.
Yeah.
And that makes it fine.
Time limit is
that
the
makes
best.
It fine.
You know why? Because it's your, you know, as they say when you're a kid, it's your own time you're wasting. You know, it really is.
Yeah.
It's like, if there's a time limit, that's how we did it in the push bike world. Obviously, in the push bike world, all of it's hop and jump and spring across things. And we had 2 minutes in a World Cup section. And you know what? If you wanted to use 1 minute 59 of that,
You can do.
crack on.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you're at World Championship level, you'd be trying to use 2 minutes, 1 section and 1 second and get away with it on the beeper. That is the way to solve the problem. Time.
It is. And of every era there is, and we talked earlier about Jordi becoming, he was the original king of trials. Then he got superseded by Dougie.
Yeah.
We've now got the current king of trials, Tony Bowe, which just brings me on to the bit in between. Okay.
Yeah.
Bear with me on this, which is Adam Ragger. He won 3 World Championships.
I'm going to
3,
shoot
wasn't
it
it? I
3.
think it was 3.
It was
I
3.
think it was
3,
3.
wasn't it?
I think so.
Now, obviously, we've just been to the DL12 event, which is... I had to explain to my friend what DL12 meant, because he was like, what does DL12? I went, it's Dougie Lampkin, and he won 12 World Championships. He says, "Oh, I thought it was a postcode for Darlington." My mate lives at DL12. Right, and before that, it was JT7.
Yeah.
Yes, and goodness knows what we're on now with Tony Bow.
34. 36.
Now, all I want to go is if you were Adam Ragger, because he was so often the bridesmaid to Dougie.
Yep.
So say Dougie didn't get into trials.
Never the bride.
Right? Well, he was 3 times. And say Tony Bow never got into trials. It was just Adam Ragger. I've done my mathematics. He would have won 53.
Is that a three-syllable word?
53 world championships.
Used abacus.
Are you ready? Yeah, go with me on this.
Yeah.
So his event would be this. This is not going to work if you're listening on Spotify. But
Just
his
say no if you're
event
listening right now.
would be the AR53, which says... That's what my the mathematics might not be quite
If
right.
Adam Ragger was world champion, so this is if Adam Ragger was world champion, Tony Bow didn't exist,
Dougie Lampkin didn't
and
exist.
Dougie Lampkin had stopped riding.
Yes.
Adam Ragger would be the AR53
It's
Indoor,
fantastic,
which in
who
90s
did that for you?
texting, like
I knocked
Ali
this
G,
up last night.
would
And
be,
notice that I've done the Sherco
arse.
colours, but I hadn't got a yellow highlighter. I'd only got a pink one.
Right, okay.
So maybe that's going to be his new kit colour.
Maybe.
There you go, Adam.
Mate, that was a premonition.
I hope he's watching this.
Well, that's the kind of level.
He
Just
will-
so you
he
know,
will get
Stu has
back
actually
to
just,
him.
if you're listening to this, Stu has just held up a picture, an illustration. That's what we're
Yes.
going to call it, a piece of artwork.
Yes.
Basically for the new logo, brand logo for the imaginary
It is completely
indoor.
fictitious.
A fictitious
Yes, 'cause
indoor
the
where
Doug
Adam
Lampkin-
Ragger has been world champion for the last 52 occasions.
53.
53, sorry. 53, which in text tone basically
Yes.
spells arse.
It does. The
It does.
fives and F's.
The AR53.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that is the kind of highbrow
And that
conversation.
is how highbrow we are here, guys. That is my sense of humour and my contribution right now.
You know, we're going to call
Brilliant.
that halfway. And at halfway, we're going to talk about the support for this episode.
We should talk
Not
about our
the support
sponsors.
for a fictitious indoor. So, I can't
The
concentrate.
fantastic guys at Cameo Moto,
Yes.
and they have really taken it seriously. We've competed with Timps for many years on club trials. He's been an incredible rider over the years, and now he has just really knocked it up. What he's doing over at on Sheffield Way, John Field.
So yeah, he's based. He's in Chesterfield now.
He's in Chesterfield now.
So we've just done
Fabulous.
three locations for Cameo Moto. You can see Cameo Moto in Sheffield, John Field. And I wonder if he's actually going to get some extra locations.
He moves
Tips.
around. He gets everywhere.
I mean, again, it's another shop that's, I'm not going to say come out of the blue, but Timps was always destined to, that's Richard Timpley, by the way, it was always destined to eventually have his own shop, I feel, because what people may not know is when they go and see him, and he's, he's pretty understated, isn't he, Timps? He's not like super out there.
No.
Wonderful rider. Wonderful. I think when he was younger, we saw him rise to B class and A class British champion.
Yeah, he's always taken it
Back to
very
back.
seriously.
He had a ride on Beta when I was younger. I was in C class back then. And he was on a ride on Beta. And it was almost like through one winter, Richard Timpley came back and was just a different guy.
Boom.
He was just a different breed.
Yeah.
His riding level just went through the roof.
Really gelled with the Sherco.
Really gelled with the Sherco after. He was European champion, Richard Timpley, and then went on to ride World Rounds.
Yep.
So for people that don't know much about Timps.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
Was
He
a
was-
a JST rider as well.
He was.
Such a talent, such a nice lad. And now he's just focusing, he's putting all of his energies
Back into the sport.
Back into the sport, which is what we're
What
doing.
we want to do.
He really, really is. And he's got a great location, Camio Moto. You can go over to their showroom. He's got a wonderful workshop there. And, we're going to put this out there, but during the period after the R3 video that we did for Vertigo, again, it all seems to be the catalyst, that video.
Yeah.
It was definitely a bike that I'm going to be honest, I was a Beta owner at that point, and I was...
Changed your perspective
I
completely.
did, yeah.
It blew your mind.
It made me become very neutral in my bike
The
reviews.
the person it shocked most was you.
It was, because I was getting to the side of that hill that day to make that video, and I was like, these Vertigos are overpriced, and X, Y, and Z, and fuel injection will never work, which nobody ever says that to me in the
5
comments.
minutes later,
5 minutes later, I was like,
the Beta
I was like,
yeet.
mate,
Yeah.
2
There you
days
go.
later, literally 2 days, I'd traded in my Beta, which was, if anybody's, sees my bikes or whatever, Ben will attest to this, you will, they're pretty tricked out most of the time.
Yeah. You must lose some money.
Oh, mate, honestly, I've lost on the last one. And
Well, it's better than gambling, isn't
Well,
it?
it
I mean,
is,
that's
yeah.
just a waste
we've
of
all
money.
got addictions,
It's an
you know?
addiction.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
told
Exactly
the
what
wife
it
it
is.
could be worse. I could be into going to the pub and seeing other women, but instead I'm just into wasting money on bikes.
drugs.
All my money gets
Drugs,
blown
drugs also, yeah.
on. All my
Just
everything
say
goes
no,
on farm
kids.
machinery. Just does.
And so yeah, it basically, that bike really changed the perspective. And I dare say that Rich is by far one of the, shall we say, forerunners of the Vertigo's.
Oh, he was really
sales.
spearheading. He threw himself deep
Into Vertigo.
into it, and didn't it pay off?
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely one of the. He's a destination now. If you own a Vertigo, there isn't much that he can't put right if there is an issue.
He is the guru.
Yeah, he's a bit of a Vertigo guru.
Yeah.
He rides one full time as
He
well.
does.
I think that says a lot by any shop.
I saw him riding a TRS last time.
Yeah, I think that's just because of what he had in stock. He was waiting for his Vertigo come through. He's got a tricked out Vertigo. It was his Vertigo I rode on the Trialtube episode, the RS.
Right, okay,
That was
yeah.
Richie's own bike.
Brilliant workshop facilities.
Yep, and also
What's he stock?
right now he's
Didn't
stock in TRS Beta. He's not gas. TRS Beta, Vertigo, and Chirco.
And he has a good selection of second-hand bikes. If you're starting out and you're looking for sort of a 2.5 grander,
Yeah.
he covers that sort of range right up to the brand new. So
I've
he's-
actually seen him advertise a few twin shocks. Proper bikes.
He gets all sorts.
Fantics,
Gets all sorts,
Bultacos. Yeah, some proper old dragons came out.
I know he's got a big money TY Pinky in at the minute.
Is that yours?
It could be.
It will be soon. It will
It will be soon. I fancy a Pinky.
Suit you down
You
to the
like
ground.
Wings World when he goes
I'd
into
have
that.
to have like Sora pink gear on as
I'm
well
sure
at the
Sandy
same
can
time.
sort that.
Yeah. Well, I know a guy.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll sort me out with that. But
It
no,
will be
Tim's has been in
mine.
it for a long time, and I think what's good is the fact that even with the last episode when we did stuff with the other guys at Road and Trials, like Cameo, you'll notice a trend with the really good shops.
Yeah.
And that trend is they've got heritage, and if they've got that kind of experience behind them, like Rich has, let's be honest, there's not a lot many people can teach him if he's rolled through the gates of a world championship.
He knows his stuff.
He knows his
and
stuff.
he knows how to set a bike up.
Yeah, he does. I'll give him that. He knows how to set a bike up. But the clothing side of things, he's also the Comas importer. For people that didn't know that, you can get Comas gear from Camio Moto, and he's all right. As Tim's, I'm not going to blow too much smoke up on him, but he's okay.
He knows what he's doing, and he's a sound guy to work with.
Yes. So that's our episode sponsor anyway for this week.
Thank you, Cameo Moto.
So thank you very much, Cameo Moto, and I'm sure you'll recommend the podcast if you want to basically waste an hour of your life talking about trials. Moving on.
Shall we talk about the DL12?
Yes.
Go on.
Let's do it.
I wasn't there.
You didn't go.
I didn't go. I thought I'd watch it on Facebook this time because enough people had lives on.
It was very good. The riding was exceptional. The sections I thought were fantastic.
From what I could see from watching the lives, it was better than last year. Or
Yes, it
the year
was.
before, sorry.
So Ben bought the cheap ticket.
I bought the cheap ticket.
Yeah,
The free
you bought
one.
the
The
cheap
free
ticket,
option.
the free option.
Yeah, not better than cheap.
You know what?
Free.
That's going to happen at any event
Yeah.
because every single person's got a mobile device in their pocket, and they're all going to be able to film it, stream it, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And
We
video
went
it.
a bit mad this year, didn't we?
We did, yeah. We had full send. Me and Stu had a box.
We did.
We had the platinum package.
We did. We spent all of our pennies.
We did.
Copping up.
We don't get out much. Like we don't go to the footy every weekend, do we? Let's be honest.
No, we don't. So it was very good. The different to others, they let some of the public come behind scenes to meet the riders, greet the riders, see the bikes,
Yeah.
and watch the warm up. During the warm up,
I was just going to say that was more entertaining than the trial in some ways.
Is that Toby's crash?
oh gosh!
Now
it was
I
a
didn't
big,
see this crash.
I did.
I heard it.
Oh, it was big.
Well, you'd hear it with a
gosh.
Montesa going down on the floor, wouldn't you?
Well, I did notice also when his
we-
Montesa hit the practice sections, they were a foot lower for everybody after.
The joking aside, that had to have hurt him.
Yeah.
He
Look,
shot
looked
up in
really-
the air and then ended with his arse on the bridge of two of the, like the point of the two sections.
Maybe he was advertising the Adam Ragger Indoor.
He jumped up laughing though, didn't he?
Yes. It was arse. He ended on his arse. He walked away very lame, and I think that has got to have affected his ride on the night, and I was gutted for him. I was absolutely gutted for him.
Because all hopes, but all signs were pointing in a good direction.
Of course they were, from the week before.
Yeah, the Chambry win.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's so much to talk about prior to the DL12. Like from the point of a week prior, Chambry Indoor International. Now these are international invitational events. They're not Trial GP, similar to Sheffield.
Warm-up events for the X Trial.
Warm-up events for the X Trial, as too is the DL12,
Yeah,
which I'd love.
Yeah.
Just before we move on, I'd like to commend Jake Miller and his team on putting together a good event.
I watched the time-lapse footage of them building it.
Oh,
I'll tell
brilliant.
you what, the effort that went in by them lads, you can't knock it. That was incredible amount of effort.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of work gone in there.
Yeah,
The
so
serious amount of work.
When the first riders come out, we all went a little bit, these are a bit too severe. And of course, you wait until the Kings come out towards the end, and you went, no, they've got them absolutely spot on.
So there's one bit that I didn't like.
Oh, go on.
The fact that they ran the 90s rules.
I didn't mind that.
Allowed to use
Allowed to
some
You
sump
could sump
out.
out and not lose a mark.
But that's right.
I know it's like old school indoor, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
they
that's
were
how it
now
should be.
more awkward than watching somebody work the bike round on the sump on the edge of a pipe. And we're gonna get round in a minute.
I think it was very good for getting
people out of sections.
the young ones, Mr. Green and Mr. Hemingway.
Yeah.
They're jumping in. It's a big thing for the young lads to be going. I think it was a very good thing for getting them to get round, get used to it, because they've got a big career ahead of them, and it took a bit of pressure off them that way. I think it was a good call. I think it was the right call.
Oh, okay, fair. That's fair enough. I take it back. I take it back. I'm wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
It doesn't matter. It's a one-off standalone event. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it matters. I'm not passionate about many things, but I hate the old rules. And
the X Trial, that's a whole different.
It was X Trial's a different cup of tea, but it's X Trial. Dear me, we'll get onto that in a minute.
They've got a right dodgy commentator on that.
Dodgy commentator. No, not on the X Trial. No, he means right now, don't you? Do you mean?
Oh, Fiasco.
The Fiasco guy. Yeah.
What
I don't know.
heck?
Does anybody even know who this guy is?
What the heck? Come on, this can't be a genuine thing.
It shouldn't be, should it? That should not be allowed.
It should
It's
be
a
called.
5.
It's a 5. He's 5'd the section.
I think he's
got
footing
a
brilliant.
Fiasco.
I think
It's
he's
not even a
footing
word
brilliant.
that
I really
anybody
do.
uses in any normal vocabulary. Oh, do you know what's happened to me the other day, Ben? I had a right fiasco, I tell you. No, but you slap you around the face.
You sound like
Talk
you're a nail
proper.
bar.
What's the other thing? The
Footing.
footing.
Footing,
As in footing.
yeah. And, what was
It's
the
a
other
dab,
one?
ladies and
my
gentlemen. It is a dab.
gosh, It just annoys me.
Footing. What was the other thing? There's a fiasco.
It'll come to us in a minute.
Yeah.
Leaning.
Oh,
Footing and
he's-
leaning. That's
he's
what he
just-
says.
Yeah,
So-
leaning. He's when they
That's
some guy
on the
in it.
song.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
kind
know
of-
what it is. It's when they do the post event. What's it? And they go, I had a good race today. It's not a race. It's a trial. Stop it.
I'm not saying he's getting pretty passionate right now. But,
getting very
I don't know if you know
I'm not
about
the
this.
only
But
one. I'm not the only one here.
no, not at all. I'm going to be honest. I always thought the most awkward thing in the world was if a Spanish rider gets interviewed and he sounds like he's
A robot.
a robot a little bit, but you can forgive it because at the end of the day,
It's not his language.
it's not his language.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think again this year at the Trial GP, I thought that Marietta Evans, who was the on-site correspondent, who also, just so you know, is our on-site correspondent for any foreign correspondency that we do for Trialtube podcast.
That'd be good.
So we've got a multilingual presenter.
Bill.
Who can have a conversation in English with us without sounding like a 90s British trials rider.
What I could never understand was when they interviewed the English riders, they didn't talk like this. English riders also talked like this, and I had a good race today. Why? Just
Because you don't have to be
talk
smart,
normal.
but you got on a bike.
Just talk. So top tip.
That doesn't count, does it?
Here's the Trialtube podcast tip to all you.
Top tip.
Top tip to all the budding, amazing next World Championship English lads. Talk normal, lads. Just talk normal. Don't look a twat.
You're going to have to edit that out.
Yeah, we got. No, it's in. It's definitely in, and it's staying in. Yeah, it was always a thing where you just kind of think to yourself, when you have a microphone thrust upon you, take that opportunity to try your best to at least thank your sponsors. I know it sounds a bit Americanized and a bit supercross. I'm not saying to thank God, because I think they take it a touch too far, like for the the Texas round of the Supercross, where the first thing they do is, instead of saying, I'd like to thank my sponsors and my team, the first thing they say is, well, tonight Jesus was riding with me. What pillion? Was he on the back, was he? He's on the tank. I'd like to thank God. I'm like, oh God, am I?
Which one? There's 3,000 of them.
Yeah, you can't say that. You can't say that.
Oh God.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but I just don't understand why when it comes to trials.
But you're good at it. If someone threw a microphone in front of me, as soon as you're finished, you do kind of stumble on what you're going to say, and it is hard for some folk.
Yeah.
Oh, but all you've got to do is just be yourself and say what you've just done.
No, but I don't want to be myself because I'm an arsehole.
I tell you what, we've covered some on this podcast.
Covered some ground on episode 2, haven't we?
And it's time to
We've
start
worked
wrapping
out
it
that
up.
he's an arsehole.
He is. No, well, we knew that anyway. I'm not. I have never studied it, and listen. I do the honest review. You know, I'm the honest reviewer.
None of us are prima donnas. We're
No,
just silly
there's no
sods
prima
that
donna
love
here.
trials,
That's
and
not happening.
what flows out of our mouths is pretty accurate. in our head, it is anyway.
So yeah, the DL12, because we've still got time to cover it. Very well done.
yeah.
Yeah,
This
it
year.
did look better.
It did really well.
Shall we do 3 good things, 3 bad
Oh yeah,
things?
that's
what a good
Trialtube,
idea.
isn't it?
We'll do one each. So so we'll do good things first.
Okay.
Do you want to start, Dan?
No.
I'll start. I'll start.
Go on.
I think the sections were some of the best I've seen. I think the severity was good. The section designs were good. For me, that's a huge tick. Bing.
So good point number 1 are the sections.
Yes.
Ben?
Good point number 2. Everything just worked a hell of a lot better from the year before. The lighting was better. The running of it was better. The riders coming out doing the races first. And then all the riders getting 8 minutes to do the certain sections just works a treat, I think.
Good point number 2.
So it ran smoothly.
Did run very smoothly.
It ran very smoothly.
And you're dead right. It was absolutely on schedule. Bump, bump, bump. We are starting here. This is done. That
And
is
it
that.
said
And we are finishing.
times,
And
it all
it
worked.
did.
Yeah.
The time managed it perfectly.
I
Good
thought
thing number 3?
Good thing number 3 for me was actually I've got 2. Oh, can I have 2?
Yeah.
Can I have 2 more?
Please can.
Okay, cool. The lighting had improved vastly for the riders.
Yes. The rides could see where they
Also,
were going
the
in
ambience
section.
of the whole thing was just a lot better. You know,
Yes.
the lighting, the setup,
that stepped up.
They really stepped that up. You know, if you attended the DL12, it was just better. So that was better.
And the other good thing?
And the other good thing was I liked all the extras, the expo area, the ability to have check out the warm up, because everybody always hears the bikes warming up in the background. And when
you
I was
wanna
a
watch
kid,
them going, don't you?
Yeah, you want to go in, especially
like
if you're a
that
kid in
too.
trials.
That
That
was
was
a really
like
good one.
you want to see behind the scenes, and it was almost like, well, that was behind the scenes because the paddock was accessible, and it was rammed, wasn't it? Stu.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
And also Ben, for somebody watching online,
Yeah.
in many cases, you would have been able to see a lot of the back end because people would have filmed that.
There's
right?
loads of people filming it. Yeah.
Loads of people filming it, so that's
It got
good.
all over the socials. Okay, so 3 bad things are not really bad things. They just
Yeah,
when
we don't-
you know when you were at school and you had your report card and it said could do better.
Yeah,
Well,
I
only
get
tiny,
it.
I
tiny
had that
little
a lot.
things. I had that
Yeah.
a lot. I had that a lot.
I had See Me After, but she was well fit, to be fair.
My report sort of said he'd be better if he turned up more often.
It was nice to see Stu in.
Yeah.
Once a week.
So bad thing, and it's not a proper go. It's just I don't think the sound system was overly good. We was up in the gods in the very expensive boxes, and it was very muffled. I couldn't hear the commentary or the interviews very clearly.
It sounded like Kenny on South Park.
Or it was
Isn't that like? That was like Vic and Bob doing club singing?
it was. That was 100%.
It did sound like Vic and Bob on Shooting Stars.
Come across as.
Yeah, and that was Britney Spears.
Little niggle number
Look at
2.
Ben. He has no idea what we're on about right
Right
now.
off my idea.
So Ben,
little
Shooting
number
Stars was his
2.
TV show on
it
like a
was
Friday or
legendary.
Saturday night during the late 90s.
I'm only 30.
I know, bless you. I bet you were born after 2000 and everything. No.
Not quite. My bad thing then.
Go on, little niggle.
Little niggle. I think they should have a live on YouTube. Why not?
Well, it has been said. I think it was said in the comments.
Yeah, I think live on YouTube, like...
I think that's a good call.
I think the argument is they'll say that they're giving it away for free or something like that.
Pay for it then.
Well, you can have a pay-per-view. It wouldn't be expensive. Let's be honest. They could probably also double their revenue, but we won't talk about that.
That's a good idea. A pay-per-view option.
Yep.
Yeah, a pay-per-view option. But that's down the line. I'm sure they would have thought about it. They're quite a savvy bunch.
Yep.
When I say savvy, I mean very savvy.
Little niggle number 3.
Little niggle number 3 for me. Oh, God, why have you left me to do this?
Can I do it then if you were struggling?
I'm not struggling. I know exactly what I need to say, but I just don't
don't know
want
how
to
to
do
say
it.
Well, I'll go in for
People
another
say that
little-
I'm the instigator of it, but you know what it's going to be.
Go on then.
Right, so there was a changeover of commentator at the late hour for the DL12, which I think was a changeover for the better. If you want my opinion, because the person that was doing it had trials experience.
Yeah.
They have a clearer
Knowledge?
A clearer knowledge of the sport, but also a better clarity to their voice. The other problem is the fact that the other person doing the commentary, whose name of the chap I don't really know right now, and I seem to have lost it. Basically, the problem is he knows nothing about trials. When you're asking people like, and what sort of tyre pressures are in the back of the gas? I'm like, why have you been at the gas tent this evening? Like, do you know your indoor pressures?
It should be
what a stupid
common
question.
sense that if you are commentating on a sport, the commentator should know that sport inside out.
Absolutely.
Of whatever sport.
What do
that
these
is.
bikes weigh? He asked him at one point. I'm like, oh God, shut up. He's in the section. Like,
if you were commentating on ice skating, it's an ex-ice skater that is commentating.
and they know about it.
And they know about it.
You know, there's a reason why Ian Wright is commentating on football and Lineker is in the box.
I think that just goes without saying.
Yeah. So
Can I have another teeny tiny?
Yeah, go
nickel?
on then, go on
And
then.
it's only because
because we love it.
we love it and we're passionate.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people there. It was great to see a sellout, but there was no intermit and
that's a good one,
interlude.
Needed a push
Intermission,
bike.
There was no
entertainment.
action. There was three
No
quarters of
halftime
those
show.
people sat down. No half-time show. We
Yeah,
like a good half.
should be.
I want to see
I remember
P
P.
coming in on a string.
Opay was brilliant.
On fire.
I don't care if it's ballroom dancers or flatland BMXers. We want to
No.
be entertained.
We don't have flatland BMXs.
Oh, okay.
That's
Ballroom dancing.
I'd settle for ballroom dancing above flatland
the
BMX.
Ilkley marching band. That'd have been better than watching Nout.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
We want half-time.
I mean, I know there was an interview with
If there was
Billy
a bunch
Bolt.
of kids on pit bikes having a race, Brill.
Can you remember the pit bike racing at the dirt bike show? That was sick.
Yes, it was.
It was so
It
good.
can't be too
watch
difficult
that.
to put on 20 minutes of daft fun. It can't be difficult. And there you go. Them are the only little niggles or suggestions.
As a suggestion, because I do like constructive criticism, because just saying something's bad doesn't mean that's a good thing. Because
But
the
the
thing
nig-
I hate the most is when people like give me criticism about the videos online, but then they don't give me a alternative or solution.
Yeah.
You know,
But the
that's like saying
niggles
that was
are
crap.
nowhere-
Well, all right, what would you do then?
What would you do better? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the
So-
niggles are anywhere near the good. The good points
Oh, the good
are
way overweigh the
blowing
niggles.
away the niggles.
And also, we also are from an experience standpoint where we've been to many indoor trials, and we've seen a variety of other things done. So let's be honest, I don't think it would have been really hard to arrange
a few bits differently.
Yeah, even if it's just a jump ramp in the middle with freestyle trials on in the middle.
Right. Yeah.
I think you just said that, Ben, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're getting low on time.
We are getting low on time, as always.
We are needing to start to wrap this episode 2 of the Trialtube podcast up.
Yeah, definitely. As always, I think just to make a shall we say, a conclusion to everything that we've said, as a standpoint, as a group of 3, I think we can all agree we loved the DL12.
Yes, massively. Brilliant. Can't wait for next year.
Can't wait for next year. Would you go next year?
Yes.
Would you go next year?
I'd go next year.
Oh, you're going to buy a ticket, not just watch it online.
That's the one.
You might be able to live
I
stream.
put my hand in my pocket.
Mate, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to go next year, but I'm going to pay for the live stream.
We have discussed that all formats of trials, P65, twin shocks, modern, it's healthy. It's good. The sport is growing and doing well. There's a lot of passionate people in trials, and we like that.
Right, we like that. We like those people. Again, huge applause to Jake Miller and his team and the DL12, Dougie. The whole Lampkin family was involved. Their team
They did
Jake's
trials
family
proud.
as well. And they did trials very proud. Yes, they did.
Proud.
Of course
Well
they did. So we applaud them guys. I think there was like a big team picture as well, wasn't there? That was quite nice.
Yeah.
I saw on Instagram.
Do subscribe if you can.
Yeah, like and subscribe to the videos as always. You can catch the Trialtube podcast in video format on YouTube, on Spotify, and on Apple. We'd like to say a big thank you to our episode sponsor, Richard Timpley at Cameo, once again, making it possible, making dreams come true for 3 guys chatting about trials in a deep, dark cave in Stoke-on-Trent.
We are open to, if anybody else has any ideas, contact us. So there's obviously at Trialtube on
Trialtube on Instagram. Yeah, you can also you can contact any of the presenters with ideas. You can get a hold of Stu on at Trials Day. Ben, your handle on Instagram is?
Not quite sure.
Oh my God, it's at Ben Butterworth. You can find him just at Ben Butterworth. Yeah. It's Ben's name. Yeah, it's okay. It's lucky that I stalk you online.
Isn't it?
I do slide into his DMs occasionally. And of course, you can follow us at Trialtube. But once again, thank you very much. If you are driving right now, please keep your eyes on the road, stay safe, and keep your feet up if you're out at the weekend. Cheers.
I've been Stu Day.
I've been Ben Butterworth.
And I am still waiting for the next episode.
Good night.